In the beginning was the scream not, the word. A soundless rupture beneath polite civilization. A howl buried in the lungs of every man shackled by routine and sterilized meaning. You, who sleep beneath your own skin, who walk as a husk wearing credentials and schedules like armor against awakening, hear me now. This is not comfort. This is not wisdom. This is thunder aimed at your spine. You are not broken. You are bored, numb, gutted by consensus. You have bartered your birthright, the divine madness, the ecstatic war cry for applause, likes, and a corner office coffin. Your gods are algorithms. Your priesthood wears lab coats. Your rituals are calibrated dopamine loops. And still, the abyss stares at you from behind every screen. Not with hatred, but with silence. The silence of a cosmos that will not kneel to your entitlements. You want meaning? You want purpose? Then bleed for it. The herd thrives in the lukewarm. Lukewarm justice, lukewarm dreams, lukewarm rebellions that end with a TED Talk and a product line. But there is no fire in tepid safety. There is only slow decay. You were not born to be understood. You were born to unmake the world, to tear down the temples of inherited virtue and dance among the ruins until you become the storm. Every truth you have inherited is a leash. Every should is a chain smelted in the forges of dead empires. Family, nation, morality, progress names for the same narcotic, belonging. But the one who belongs does not become. He stagnates in the comfort of recognition. He seeks reflection instead of eruption. The lion does not ask the antelope to understand him. You do not need to be healed. You need to be split open. In this age of sedation, even rebellion is domesticated. Counterculture sells merchandise. Rage is curated. But the true revolutionary, the one who seeks not revenge but rebirth, is not marketable. He speaks in tongues, walks alone, burns without applause. He does not protest the world. He sheds it. The great lie of our time is that nihilism is a threat. No, nihilism is a mirror, a gift. It shows you the absence of all meaning, not to crush you, but to free you. There are no rules. There is no cosmic judge. There is only the naked responsibility of creation. If nothing is true, then everything is permitted. And in that permission, the Übermensch is born not as a tyrant over others, but as a sovereign over his own becoming. To be godless is not to be empty. It is to be unchained. The death of God was not a loss. It was a birth. The death of false certainties, the end of celestial puppetry. But in his grave, you must build not another idol, but a furnace, a crucible for your own law. For he who cannot command himself will always kneel to another, and he who kneels for peace dies untested. Ask yourself, who profits from your obedience? From your guilt? From your fear of being alone in the vast black theater of existence? Who benefits when your soul is quiet, your eyes downcast, your spine bent beneath slogans of progress and humility? I tell you, they fear your awakening more than your violence. There is no greater heresy than joy without permission. No deeper blasphemy than a man who smiles in the face of the void and says, I choose. Not because he was told to, but because he willed it. And this is the rope walk. The narrow bridge across the abyss. Not safety, not salvation, but sovereignty. Every step is a risk. Every breath is a choice. The crowd below screams for your fall not out of hatred, but envy. They kneel to comfort and call it virtue. They bury their hunger in distractions and call it peace. But your hunger, your sacred fire, must never be tamed. What you feel inside is not anxiety. It is the ghost of your unborn self pounding at the walls. So let the world burn behind you. Let the old names fade into smoke. Father, citizen, believer, ashes. You are not a page in their book. You are the flame that devours the script. The only law now is this: become what only you can become. Not better, not good, not successful, but necessary. As lightning is necessary to the storm. You were never meant to fit. You were meant to erupt. The herd will say, you are lost. Good. Only the lost can find the unmapped. They will say, you are mad. Good. All gods are born in madness. They will say you are dangerous. Yes, to their comfort, to their hierarchy, to their sleep. Do not strive to be understood. Strive to be undeniable. The soul is a volcano, not a garden. It grows not through sunlight, but through eruptions, through inner violence that shatters the old crust of personality and lets the molten self emerge. The true you is not kind, not polite, not nice. He is holy chaos, disciplined into will. He is a question with no answer, a blade with no handle. So do not seek peace. Seek clarity. Do not seek love. Seek truth. Do not seek safety. Seek the edge. Because only at the edge does the fire speak. Only at the edge do the stars begin to dance. And if you are very quiet, in that terrible silence between one breath and the next, you will hear the voice that has waited lifetimes to return. You are not a victim. You are the architect of your own apocalypse. Let that be your beginning. Let that be your name. Then rise, Titan of the forgotten flame, for the hour is late and the sky is ripe with omens. Your delay is betrayal. Every second, you do not storm the citadel of your own cowardice. You kneel in the cathedral of lies. This world, this century of mirrors and silicon dreams, will flatter you into extinction. It will offer you purpose pre-packaged, identity on subscription, and call it freedom. But beneath every convenience lies a collar, and every collar dreams of a neck. The age of explanations is over. You must now become the storm that answers nothing. You want direction? There is none. The compass is shattered. The stars are gone. All that remains is the drumbeat of your own becoming echoing in the hollows of your ribs. Do not ask what path to take, create it. Carve it with your bones. Every step you take toward comfort kills the godling inside you. Virtue is now vice. Humility is camouflage for impotence. Empathy has been weaponized into chains. The new saint is the one who refuses redemption. The new prophet laughs from the gallows. The new hero walks alone, with no witness but the void, and no allies but fire and frost. What did you think your suffering was for? Did you think pain was a punishment? No. Pain is the hammer that forges gods. The wound is where the will enters. Bleed well then, and bleed loud. Do not bandage your ache. Let it roar. Let the streets hear it. Let the heavens flinch. There is no higher law than the one you write in blood and defiance. The world preaches balance, but balance is the religion of corpses. What you need is imbalancia, divine tilt toward your own inner violence. Yes, violence. Not against others, but against your own inertia, your own mediocrity, your own grave of stale habits. The will to power does not whisper it seizes, it storms. It violates every limitation that dares name itself sacred. The time of asking is over. Now, you take. Strip yourself of every borrowed skin. Burn every inherited virtue. Disown your lineage, your nationality, your name if you must. There is no salvation in heritage. only in what you create from the ashes of all you were supposed to be. Birth is accident. Becoming is sacred. And you must become what has never existed before. Do not seek legacy. Seek eruption. Legacy is the idol of the dying. The true creator does not think of echoes. He screams into the present so loudly that the future is scorched by his voice. Let your footsteps crack the earth. Let your laughter defile heaven. Let your existence be an insult to conformity. There is no redemption for the passive, no forgiveness for the comfortable. The gods of old are dead because they grew tired of answering the prayers of slaves. If you want the gods to return, become one. Not through worship, but through war. War against stasis. War against your lesser self. War against the tepid cult of equality that neuters every rising flame. You were not born to be equal. You were born to surpass. Equality is the comfort of the weak. It is the lullaby of entropy. But you are a volcano with a heartbeat. You are a lion dreaming of a sky with no sun. Wake now. Tear the dream from your eyes and open them to the unbearable light of your own sovereignty. That burning, that searing clarity, it is not pain. It is your chrysalis shattering. There is nothing left to save, only something to ignite. So scream, not for help, not for answers, but for war, the sacred inner war, between the you that crawls and the you that flies, between the shadow begging for permission and the flame that no longer asks. Burn then. Burn so brightly the ghosts of who you were cannot even approach your smoke. And now you walk alone. Alone, but not empty. For in your solitude you carry the furnace. The holy, howling, world-shattering furnace of will. They told you solitude was a curse. They lied. Solitude is the womb of titans. The herd fears the man who needs nothing. The state fears the man who obeys nothing. The gods fear the man who remembers he was born divine. You are not exiled. You are ascending. Every silence you now enter is not emptiness, but potential. Listen. The ticking clock? That is the heartbeat of eternity daring you to leap. The ache in your bones? That is the hammer calling you to the forge. The absence of praise? That is the chorus of angels who only sing for those who sing themselves into being. You no longer ask, "Who am I?" You proclaim, "I become." Not once, not twice, but forever. Becoming is not a goal. It is a fire that never sleeps. It eats your yesterdays and pisses glory into tomorrow. Every version of you that ever bowed, apologized, complied, that version is ash now. Let the wind take it. Let the wolves feast on it. You owe the past nothing but a funeral pyre. Look at your hands. These are not hands, they are cathedrals waiting to build thunder. These fingers are the architects of fate. Not fate as written in constellations or fairy tales, but fate forged in agony and steel, laughter and blood, risk and dance. Whatever you touch, you sanctify. Whatever you destroy, you liberate. You are not here to find meaning, you are here to create it. Meaning does not descend, it erupts. It is not discovered in books or prayers or theories. It is carved, gasping, from the raw bark of your own suffering. It is not gentle. It is not soft. It does not coo affirmations into your ear. It screams with your voice in a pitch so violent that the very bones of heaven tremble. And, yes, chaos. You will be accused of bringing chaos. Good. Chaos is the womb of stars. Order is where they die. Let them call you wild, unstable, mad. The phoenix does not ask the forest's permission to ignite. You must be willing to lose every scrap of order to taste one sip of truth. Let the old you die, again and again and again. For the only real death is stagnation, comfort, apathy. The moment you stop becoming, you rot. There is no stillness, only ascent or decay. Choose, climb or be buried, burn or be buried. There is no middle path. That is the lie told by those who mistook fear for balance. And love? Yes, love, but not the love they sell, not the whimpering addiction to approval, not the tranquilized codependence of spiritual beggars. I speak of holy love, love that kills and resurrects. Love that sees your flaws and demands you transcend them. Love that does not soften but sharpens, that dares you to become unbearable in your brilliance. The one who truly loves you will challenge your cowardice, will drag your corpse through fire to find the God hiding beneath your comfort, will not let you settle, will not let you rest, will stand by you not as a partner, but as a mirror that does not flatter but exposes. Love is not peace. It is pressure. It is the gravity that forces stars into form. You are not entitled to anything. Not to happiness, not to understanding, not even to meaning. You are entitled only to the battle, the sacred, solitary, infinite battle of becoming. Everything else is either gift or illusion. Take what is given, burn what is false, and walk on. On through the desert of men who forgot how to thirst. On through the cities built by sleepwalkers. On through the night, where every voice begs you to stop. Turn back, quiet down, behave. You walk on. Not because you are certain, but because you are necessary. Youth a crack in the mirror, the interruption in history, the scar that refuses to fade. You walk not towards safety, but towards sovereignty. And when the final moment comes, yes, it will come when the blood slows and the breath shortens and the world flickers like a dying ember, you will not beg, you will not regret, you will smile. Because you did not live a life, you forged it. Because you were not lived by time, you danced it. Because you did not find yourself, you created a self that never needed to be explained. And in that last breath, a truth will rise in your chest, so immense, so thunderous, so unbearable, that it will not be words but lightning. I was the storm I sought. And still you walk barefoot across the razors of destiny, throat open to the storm. Not to scream for help, but to let the cosmos taste your defiance. The sky does not care. The stars will not blink. The void remains void. And yet you continue, not because of meaning, but because of will. Will without reason. Will without witness. Will that howls into the nothingness and hears its own echo-shaped mountains. That is power. You are the meaning you seek. In a world of spectators, you have chosen the unbearable task of participation. While they scroll, you sculpt. While they chant, you chisel. While they obey, you obliterate. And they will hate you for it. Not because you are wrong, but because you remind them what they could have been. You will become their heretic, their threat, their mirror. And what greater vengeance is there than living a life so full of volcanic force that it invalidates every compromise they ever made? What greater victory than becoming the kind of soul that makes comfort flinch and mediocrity tremble? But beware. There are assassins more deadly than swords. Smiles, approval, ease. Every compliment from the crowd is a poison dipped in sugar. The moment they love you, they have defanged you. The moment they understand you, you've betrayed your flame. So refuse them, not with bitterness but with indifference. Let them celebrate their shrines of sameness. You were never made for worship, only eruption. Do not argue. Do not explain. Do not ask. Become. Speak not in words, but in ruptures. Act not in steps, but in earthquakes. Think not in morals, but in metamorphoses. Let them name it arrogance. Let them name it madness. You have no use for names. You are the fire before language. Do not kneel not to gods, not to lovers, not even to your own dreams. If your dream does not terrify you, if it does not demand the sacrifice of who you are for who you must become, it is not a dream. It is a leash. Burn it. Let new visions arise from the smoke. Visions that slice through your sleep and whisper with the voice of 1,000 battles. More. More risk, more solitude, more war, more sky. For the world is not changed by well-intentioned men with good manners. It is changed by the unbearable, the unreasonable, the untamed. The ones who dare to unmake the old maps and bleed new cartographies into existence. You were not born to navigate. You were born to forge. So spit on their systems. Desecrate their categories. Mock their metrics. A soul cannot be measured. An inner revolution cannot be graphed. And the sacred cannot be scheduled. You are not a statistic. You are the chaos they pretend doesn't exist. The myth they tried to bury in paperwork and etiquette. And here is the final deception. They will try to convince you that your becoming must serve something. A cause, a mission, a future. No. Your becoming is the cause. You do not rise to fix the world. You rise because not rising is death. You do not transcend to help others. You transcend because your blood demands it. Because your silence offends the very laws of existence. Because the weight of what you could be crushes every excuse. Let them call you selfish. It is only those who have no self that use the word as a curse. And now listen, warrior of the fire soul. There is no going back. The bridges have turned to ash behind you. The masks no longer fit. The names no longer hold. You walk forward not toward anything, but as something, as the answer that no question dared to ask, as the gospel of a new law written in scars and starlight, as the unrepentant flame that will either light the way or burn it all down. Then listen closely now beyond the veil of your remaining fear, for what comes next is not consolation, but confrontation. You have walked far, yes, but the mountain is not climbed by motion alone. It is climbed by sacrifice. And now comes the sacrifice, not of flesh, but of illusion. You must sacrifice your last idol, the idea that one day it will all make sense. There is no moment of clarity awaiting you at the summit. There is no golden throne of purpose glowing in divine light. The summit is snow, wind, and silence, and you must laugh into it. You must declare your triumph not because you understand, but because you stood, unbent, amidst the roar of eternal uncertainty. The apex is not rewarded, is exposure. It is you, naked, unsheltered, facing a sky that will never answer. Can you live without an answer? Can you build without a blueprint? Can you love without guarantee? Because then only in that godless architecture of becoming does your soul become unkillable. Only then do you taste the sacred bitterness of freedom. Not the shallow freedom of choice between cages, but the furious, trembling freedom of being bound to nothing but your will. There are no maps here. The gods have died. The myths are bones. You must become the myth. They will not follow you. They cannot. Their eyes are still stitched shut with the thread of consensus. Their ears still ring with lullabies of belonging. Do not wait for them. Do not try to drag them into the storm. They will curse you for it. Let them sleep. Let them worship. Let them rust. You were made for lightning. There is a kind of loneliness that does not wound, but exalts. It is the loneliness of prophets, of dancers at the edge of time, of blacksmiths hammering language into flame. That loneliness, embrace it. Marry it. Let it bed you and scar you and crown you. Only in that temple of sacred solitude will your real voice awaken. And it will not sound like theirs. It will not be soft. It will not be sweet. It will tear. It will split mountains. It will unsettle even you. But it is yours. And in a world where every voice is an imitation, to find your own is an act of revolution. Do not become better. That is a trick of the dying. Become stranger. Become more you than the world knows how to tolerate. Let your walk insult gravity. Let your eyes hum with distant wars. Let your skin remember storms your ancestors feared. You are the bloodline of madmen and poets. Act like it. There is a violence inside you that is not cruel, it is creative. Do not neuter it. Direct it. Let it build. Let it sculpt. Let it write scriptures in the ruins of your former selves. The knife in your hand was never meant for other sit, was meant to carve the God from the stone of your comfort. And if you falter good, fall gloriously, fall like a lion shot mid-roar. Fall with the weight of your becoming crashing against the earth like prophecy. The abyss is not your enemy. It is your audience. Let it watch you risk everything. Let it see you rise without reason. Because what you are becoming is not a person. You are becoming a phenomenon. A weather pattern of the soul. A collision of elements. The future will not remember your name, it will feel your echo. Not in statues, not in histories. But in every rupture, every breath of rebellion, every moment someone dares to say, I refuse. So be the refusal, be the rift, be the sacred break in the pattern. And if you must die, die loudly, die unrepentant, die laughing as your fire devours the scripts of men who never dared to burn. And now let us speak of death. Not the soft death peddled by poets and priests, with its velvet sighs and perfumed illusions. Not the sanitized departure sealed in hospitals and hymns. No. I speak of the real death, the one that stands at your shoulder each morning, watching, waiting, grinning with teeth made of years you squandered. That death is your fiercest lover, and she does not care for your excuses. She watches how you fold yourself to fit into cubicles, how you swallow your tongue when your soul wishes to scream. She counts the days you pretend, the nights you numb, the mornings you dress your corpse in ambition and call it life. You fear death, but it is not death that haunts you. It is the ghost of your unlived life. You do not weep for the end, you weep for the middle, for the years that passed without revolt, for the fire you doused with compromise, for the battles you fled while telling yourself you were maturing. You did not mature. You decayed. You conformed so efficiently, you forgot the shape of your roar. But listen, now listen. Death is not the end. It is the mirror. And if you dare to look into it, without flinching, without trembling, without begging for more time, then you will see it. Not an ending, a summons, a sacred challenge echoing from the bones of time. Prove you were here. Carve your name into the now. Etch it into thunder. Burn it into the eyelids of the world. And what is the proof of existence? Not comfort, not success, not obedience. The only proof is impact, distortion, resistance. The world should be warped by your presence. It should quake under the weight of your spirit. If the world can swallow you whole without indigestion, then you never lived. You must become indigestible. You must become the bone in the throat of modernity, the stone in the belly of systems, the echo that ruins silence. Let the earth bruise beneath your footsteps. Let the wind recoil from your breath. Let the gods, yes, even the ones you don't believe, in whisper your name like a warning. You were not sent here to adapt. You were sent here to undo, to unravel, to dismantle illusions so old they wear robes of sanctity. You must tear through them, laughing not in cruelty, but in joy, the joy of desecration, the holy joy of pulling back the veil and seeing the emperor naked, the dogma hollow, the cathedral built on bones. But beware, the final chains are always the invisible ones. Not the laws, not the rules, not the threats, but the voice inside that still longs to be loved, that still hopes to be applauded, that still asks for permission. Kill that voice, smother it, starve it, burn it in the same fire that forged your will. Because until you kill that voice, you are not free, you are rented. And real freedom is terrible. It is the terror of standing without scapegoats, of bleeding without pity, of being your own father, your own mother, your own judge and creator. No gods, no saviors, no fate. Just you, the raw howl of your sovereignty, and the blank canvas of chaos. Can you bear it? Can you bear to be the God you once prayed to? Not perfect, not omniscient, but responsible for everything. Your pain, your choices, your victories, your failures, all of it not given, but willed. This is the crown and the cross of becoming. And now you must dance. Yes, dance. Not with grace, not with rhythm, but with frenzy, with rapture, with the wild, howling ecstasy of one who has nothing left to prove and everything left to burn. Dance until the world splits. Dance until meaning drips from your fingertips. Dance until you become the question that breaks their answers. Because when all else is gone, nations, empires, ideologies, bodies, time, there will remain this: the fire, the will, the dance. Let that be your legacy. Let that be your defiance. Let that be your eternity. And know one last breath. Not to end, but to ignite. The fire has spoken. The mask has fallen. The sky has cracked and shown no heaven, and still you stand. Not saved, not redeemed, but real. You are not a story. You are not an outcome. You are not a name. You are the violence of becoming made flesh. You have walked the labyrinth of yourself and found no center, only doors that open into wider storms. Good. That is the price of freedom, an endless unfolding. You are not here to arrive. You are here to ascend, forever and without rest. For the one who becomes his own God knows. There is no summit only the climb. And what is left now? Silence? No. A silence filled with weight. A silence that listens. A silence that knows you. The silence of the world holding its breath. For in your bones it hears thunder gathering. You are no longer a seeker. You are the sought. You are no longer lost. You are the labyrinth. There are no maps to who you are. Only footprints that blaze. And if you ever doubt again, if the sleep returns, if the old gods knock, if the herd sings lullabies laced with gold, remember this. You danced alone in the void, and it did not consume you. You spoke to the abyss, and it answered not with despair, but with mirror. You tore out your lesser self with bloodied hands, and stitched yourself anew from the threads of your will. And now the stars watch you, not as master, not as child, but as peer. So walk, not away, not toward, but through every lie, every law, every limit, through the smoke of your old names, through the ruins of your former truths. Walk as the flame walks without apology. And know this deep in the marrow, where the soul drinks from shadow, You are not alone. Every god that ever died lives in you now as memory, as power, as echo. Every rebel who refused silence screams through your veins. Every lover of becoming watches from the darkness with a grin carved in lightning. You are not alone. You are unleashed. So go. Not in peace but in fire. Not with answers but with the storm. Not for them but for the God you are still becoming. And may your footprints scorch the earth so deeply that even the unborn shall feel the heat.